Good morning, children. Today we are going to do a tiger in the zoo. As you all told that this poem hasn't been done, so we are doing these two sections, the poem. A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris. Okay. This poem highlights a very simple fact that when a powerful, a ferocious, an untamable creature like tiger, when he is put into a cage, what feelings would that tiger be having? Okay. A tiger, an animal who loves to live in the wilds, who loves to live in its natural habitat, that is the forests. Okay. So in the forest, that tiger enjoys freedom. One such animal, when is put behind the bars, when is put into the cage which is its unnatural habitat, how would the feelings be of that tiger? Wouldn't that tiger crave for that freedom, desire for that liberty which the tiger had when he was in the jungle? Okay? So what are the feelings of that tiger when it is kept in captivity? Just a few highlights have been there written on the board for you all as an aid. And now I am beginning with the poem. See the text of the poem. First, let's have a look at the introduction which is given. This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with a tiger in its natural habitat. Because when the tiger is in its natural habitat, it enjoys freedom. And when in the cage, it feels that captivity. So what are the feelings? What are the contrasting feelings of that tiger? The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and then back again to the zoo. Just describing that how that tiger, when in the jungle, hunts for its own food to feed himself, and basically that is there which is maintaining the food chain. The tiger hunting for the other creatures, it is maintaining the food chain. Okay, so is able to do things on his own. But when it is going into a place where human beings live, suppose by chance any such thing happens. So tiger would not attack any creature on its own. It would be that some people may have provoked the tiger, which made the tiger attack the human beings. No creature would attack human beings on its own until and unless that creature is provoked by the human beings. So something like that is there throughout the poem. Let's begin the poem, and at last I shall be explaining you all the poetic devices. He stalks in his vivid strides. Stalks means walk angrily or arrogantly. Walk angrily or arrogantly. So here the tiger stalks in his vivid strides. Vivid means bright, clear. Stripes are the marks which are there on the tiger skin. So he walks in his vivid strides. The few steps of his cage. Obviously, the cage and its size is limited. The cage is not big as the forest or the jungle had been. So few steps here refers to the small cage in which the tiger has been confined. The tiger has been placed. So he stalks in his vivid strides. the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet. Pads of velvet here refer to the cushioned paws of the tiger, cushioned feet of the tiger. Pads of velvet quiet here refers to the quiet movement of the tiger in the cage. The quiet, the stealthy movement of the tiger in the cage. The next line, in his quiet rage. See, the word quiet has been repeated here. The first quiet refers to the quiet movement, and the second quiet refers to the suppressed anger. The tiger is angry, he is not happy. He is being confined into the cage. He doesn't like that confinement, but he is helpless. So this quiet rage refers to the suppressed anger, the controlled anger, the frustration. Okay? So see the 4 lines again. He stops in his vivid strides, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. So quiet rage here refers to the suppressed anger. Okay? Then he should be lurking in the shadow. Lurking here means waiting secretly. Okay? The tiger is known for its attacking. First hiding in a place where it is not seen, and then sudden attack. The tiger is known for that. Okay. So he should be lurking. Lurking is waiting secretly in the shadow. Shadow here refers to the darkness, and the darkness could be behind the tree or in an ambush somewhere, hiding secretly, waiting for the prey to attack. He should be lurking in the shadow. See, the first paragraph was about the zoo. Second paragraph is about when in jungle. Okay. So had the tiger been in jungle, he would have been lurking in the shadow, sliding through the grass. Sliding once again refers to that stealthy, quiet, quick movement. How quickly it would have pounced on its prey. So sliding through the grass near the water hole. The water hole refers to that place in the jungle which is a water body, and maximum other creatures would come there to drink water. Always in a jungle there is one such water place, water body. All the other creatures would be coming to drink water over there. So where would he be hiding in the ambush? Near the water hole where plump deer pass. Plump means fat. Out of all the deer which came there, he would be looking, he would be pouncing, attacking onto that plump deer, and he would be waiting for that plump deer to come so that it may attack on. Then he should be snarling around houses. Snarling means aggressively growling and showing its bare teeth. Write the meaning. Aggressively growling and showing its bare teeth, just in order to scare the other people or the villagers there. So he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. It would remain in the jungle, but in case it comes around the place where human beings live, it would come just to scare them. It doesn't come to attack or eat the human being. Tiger would attack a human being only when it is provoked. So, in case it comes into a place where human beings, it would be just to scare them. So what does the poet say? Had he not been in the cage, what would the tiger have been doing? He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs. Fangs refers to the sharp teeth. Sharp teeth. So baring his white fangs and his claws, terrorizing the village. Village here refers to the people of the village, the inhabitants of the village, the residents of the village. So even if by chance it gets to come to the edge of the jungle, the place where human beings live, it would come only to scare them, make them feel frightened, in order to make them know how ferocious a tiger is. But then the poet, another contrasting thought he presents, but instead of doing those things in the jungle or next to the jungle, a tiger is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete cell means in one such cage, a permanent cage, the tiger has been put. His strength is behind the bars. Strength here refers to the unbound strength, that power which cannot be controlled by the human beings. But how is it controlled? By putting it into a cage. So, but he is locked in a concrete cell. His strength is behind the bars. Stalking the length of his cage. Again, stalking, the word, it had been there in the first line. Walking angrily or arrogantly. So he's so angry that with that arrogance he's walking into the length of the cage. That small cage, length of the cage once again means those few steps which he takes in the cage. Ignoring the visitors. The tiger is ignoring the visitors because he hates to entertain them. You have put that creature behind the bars and you are standing outside having fun, looking at it and enjoying its captivity. So the tiger hates to entertain all the people who have come to the zoo to look at it. So he is ignoring the visitors because he doesn't like the way they are feeling entertained to look at his captivity. Finally, he hears the last voice at night. It is night and he hears the last voice when in the cage. And that last voice is of the patrolling cars of the zoo. Patrolling cars of the zoo here is that at the night, in order to check the safety, security, checking the whole of the zoo, there are some officials. I repeat, patrolling cars refers to some of the zoo officials who would check the safety and the security of all the creatures when they are inside or all the things like that. So the tiger, finally at night, he hears the last voice, and that last voice is of the patrolling cars. And the tiger stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Okay, again a repetition of here. Brilliant eyes, because in the darkness of the night, its eyes are sparkling, shining. Brilliant eyes. Brilliant stars refers to the stars which are shining bright. And symbolically, this was the literal meaning which I told you. Symbolically, brilliant eyes refers to the dreams which the tiger has. He dreams of freedom. He dreams of being out of that cage. And brilliant stars, when he looks at it, the stars are shining freely in the sky. So he also waits for that one day. He desires or craves for that one day when he would be out of that zoo, out of that cage, and enjoying the liberty and the freedom and the way the shining stars are there, free in the sky. The same way, he too would be able to live in its natural habitat, be able to live in that jungle and enjoy its freedom. The freedom which has been taken away by the people by putting it into the sea. Okay, so here the poet wishes to draw our attention towards the fact that we should not put the animals in the zoo for our own entertainment sake. Just imagine how much freedom would they be desiring for. I just gave an example in the present context. All of you are captivated in the home. How much you may be desiring to move out, go with your parents and freak out. Some of you may be desperate that when would the school be open and when would we be able to meet our friends. So it is that we should not keep someone captivated because it is very frustrating. So just imagine that frustration or that depression which the tiger may be undergoing when he is put into the. Okay, so this was the poem. Now let's discuss all the poetic devices. Have a look. Pads of velvet, it's a metaphor. Pads of velvet, a metaphor. The soft feet of the tiger compared to the velvet pads. Then, these two lines, velvet, quiet, quiet rage, there's a repetition. The repetition which I explained you. Velvet quiet refers to the quiet movement, and the quiet rage refers to the suppressed anger, the controlled anger of the tiger. Then the quiet rage has an oxymoron also. Oxymoron refers to the two contradictory words used to convey one single thought. How is it possible that someone who's enraged be quiet? But yes, quiet rage refers to the anger that has been suppressed or controlled. Then there is alliteration in the words concrete cell, behind bars. Okay. Then the rhyme scheme of the poem. It's A, B, C, B. A, B, C, B. So, how it proceeds the same way. And the tiger has been personified in the poem because throughout the poem, the poet uses the word he for the tiger. So, the main theme or the thought of the poem is that we should allow the wild animals to remain at liberty, to remain at freedom. We should not think of keeping them captivated for our own entertainment's sake. We need to value their freedom also. So with this, we finish with the poem, and in the next class, we shall do some grammar topic.